Okay, on today's video I'm going to run through the steps that you should undertake to repressurize a central heating boiler. So with this boiler, the pressure at the moment is 0.4 bar, which is too low, and I'm going to raise the pressure to 1 bar, which is a standard pressure that you should look to achieve for a cold system. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to turn the hot water and central heating programmers to the off positions so that they don't bring the boiler in while you're trying to repressurize. So to do that, we go over to the central heating programmer, okay, and you'll see this programmer here is set to auto. So to turn it to off, we press the button. Goes up to once constant and then to the off position, and that now means that that programmer won't call on the boiler while we're trying to do the works. I've also got a programmer in the hallway which controls the central heating, and I've already turned that one off, so we're all now good to go. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is locate the pressure gauge on the boiler, and on this particular boiler it's on the front panel. And it's an electronic pressure gauge, and so as you can see at the moment it's reading 0.4 bar. It says that the boiler's safety switch is cut off because of low water pressure, so obviously we've got a problem there. You may on your boiler have a pressure gauge that's similar to this, which is a manual mechanical gauge, and that's fine as well. The main thing to ensure is that the pressure at cold for the system needs to be 1 bar. Okay. Right, so to repressurize the system, we know we're at 0.4 bar and we need to get it up to 1 bar. So we need to locate a filling loop on the system, and that is normally located below the boiler or at the side of the boiler. So I'll zoom down on this particular system and we'll see that the filling loop is below the boiler, and this is what a filling loop looks like. You have a lever valve just there, and when you open that valve, that allows water through this flexible loop and into the system through this double check non-return valve. And what that means is that double check non-return valve, although it'll allow water into the system, it won't allow water out of the system. Okay, so to repressurize the system, we need to turn this valve to the on position. Now you might have on your system a screwdriver valve, so you'll need to have a screwdriver handy to do the same job. The main thing we need to ensure is that we fill the system up slowly. So to do that, we only crack this valve very slowly, and on this one we need to turn it left anti-clockwise. Okay, so I'm going to turn the valve now slowly anti-clockwise, and you'll hear, I don't know whether you can hear on the video, but you can hear the water now coming into the system. So we now go back up to our pressure gauge and we watch the system pressure rise. Okay, so I'm going to do this very slowly, so it will take a little while to rise up through the gauge, but you can see now it's gone up to 0.5 bar. It's gone on to 0.8 now, 0.9. And it's now reached 1 bar. No, it's actually dropped down to 0.6. This can happen sometimes, the gauge can fluctuate a little bit, so just wait till it stabilizes at 1 bar. So it's 0.8. Zero 0.9. 1 bar. So once it reaches 1 bar, we then go back down to the filling loop and turn the filling loop off. Okay, and if we now go back up to the pressure gauge, we can see that it's reading 1 bar. So really the main thing I must stress is that you must do this slowly, just so that any fluctuations in pressure can stabilize. Okay, so we've now filled the system up to 1 bar at cold. So the only thing we need to do now is to go and turn the central heating programmers back on. Okay, so we'll go over now and put the programmers back into the on position. So with this one, again, it's just a case of pressing the button until it goes back to auto. I've got a programmer in the hallway which I'll also do the same with as well. Okay, so that concludes the tutorial today on how to repressurize a central heating boiler and system to 1 bar pressure at cold.